in Leanne's office. You can tell by the file.
Thanks, Jeff.
Oh, yum, yum.
I have a point of order question here.
Hello?
I believe that we have a quorum.
Well, as long as he doesn't comment or anything, he can sit in the room, as long as he doesn't engage
I
in
don't
any
know,
conversation.
I've been kicked out of them.
Okay.
Well, it's advertised as a public meeting.
Are you public?
It's public, but,
Don't
It was
people?
advertised as a public meeting?
yeah.
It
is.
What?
Yeah, it's a public meeting,
Okay.
Public meetings and matters.
All right.
as long as I'm not voting.
Okay, we'll get this started. Call this meeting to order, and we'll take roll call. Vic? John? Clint?
Here?
Me? Here? Okay. We're good to go. We have no old business, and for new business tonight, we're going to invite Barbara Lourdes to voice her concern.
Okay,
And we are going to have to limit you to 5 minutes.
okay.
So if you want to come so we can hear you.
You want me to move this out there so she can stand there?
Well, actually, no, she doesn't have to stand. That's pretty
I don't
informal.
understand.
She can just sit here. Have a seat and, do you have a timer, Vic? Working on it? Okay.
Okay, Barbara Lourdes, P.O. Box 363, Auburn, Washington, 98071. Cell phone 253-632-4149, and I'm actually in the 21st century, so I have internet, and you can text me and I can read it, which is good. Well, I have some issues with Chief Calkins. I had some bad things happen to me a couple of years ago, and nothing has been resolved. The perpetrators are still out running around. I've asked Chief Calkins for copies of medical records, which are sealed. I've asked for copies of police reports and things like that, and all I get is I can't handle it, I can't deal with it, he can't talk about it, and frankly, I get tired of his attitude. So, I don't know what to do with him. I mean, I think he's a nice guy, but I kind of get this impression that basically he's a procrastinator. Doesn't like to do anything unless he absolutely has to. Doesn't return phone calls most of the time. I'm supposed to be getting money for retribution, from what I've been told. Haven't gotten anything. Some of these individuals that were involved are still out running around the streets. Nobody's been prosecuted. All I've been told by Chief Calkins is that he's working on it and he'll get back to it. He's not ready to deal with it, can't handle it. I just don't know what to do. I'm tired of being miserable and sick. I'm not going to get into it because I don't think that's really the place. I still need to have surgery, but I can't have it because I can't have my medical records, and I feel like Chief Calkins is a little bit too controlling, and he's trying to control me, and I think he has fun. And that's basically where I stand. All I ask for him to do is to do his job, sit down and, hey, if you're doing this or that, let me know. All I get is basically bullshit. So I don't know what to do with him. I've left him phone calls, I've left him emails. Finally I came here. I mean, I've even, there are other avenues I can go, but I'm trying to keep it civil and not cost anybody money. So I don't know what to do. I mean, all this crap happened to me when I was on city council, and all I know is nothing's been done. I can't get records, I can't get nothing, which is basically illegal. So the city needs to do something. If Chief Calkins doesn't want to be civil and sit down and talk to me is what I request to sit down and talk with. give me the information, I legally have a right to, then basically we need to find somebody else, because, in my opinion, he's making the city look bad. So, you know, I have a whole list of stuff that I could go through, but at this point in time, you know, he knows what I'm talking about. It needs to be resolved. You know, this stuff should have been resolved 6, 7 years ago, and it's still ongoing. Nothing's been resolved, nothing's been done, and I just get the impression he's just sweeping stuff under the table so he doesn't have to do anything because he doesn't want to do anything. So that's what basically I'll put it at for right now. I'm actually staying with some friends right now. I need to be out of by the 1st. I'm trying to find a place to live. You know, I'm making $10 an hour instead of $15 and $20. And, you know, everywhere I go, these people interfere with my life. They interfere with work and whatever. And I have a hard time trying to do anything about it because I can't get any information from him. So I'm looking for you guys to try to help me direction. You know, I don't have a problem with Chief Hawkins staying, but if he's going to procrastinate and not do what he's supposed to be doing, and, you know, basically I feel like I'm being treated like crap, then that's his problem. He needs to deal with it. The only person in the city I have a problem with is him. Once it's over and we get resolved, I move on. I'm not one for holding the grudge, I just want things resolved, which has not been.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next item on the agenda would be the speed limit on West Valley, and I turn that over to John.
We had the radar trailer out for about 8 days. And this information, it contains the volume of traffic, times a day of the traffic, the speed of the traffic, and selling these on these pages on page 2 during those times from February 23rd to March 1st. 24 hours a day, the average speed was 31.11 miles per hour. And obviously there's more detail here if there are any questions. But the reason I'm bringing this to the committee is because we had a citizen state that he had been going, and then he said,
Can you use the mic? I can't hear you. Are they even on?
I don't think they're on.
They're on. They're on. Good, thank you.
He stated that set his cruise on 28 miles per hour, and he was being passed. And he also stated that he's not in open council. Afterwards, I met with him, and he stated that he had talked with 2 patrol officers working radar on the West Valley. When they were finished, he spoke to them, and he asked what he thought their solution was to the traffic and the speed. And according to him, the officers told him the speed limit was too low, and he believes the speed limit is too low, and I believe it's too low. I didn't think that we should have reduced it from 40 to 25 to begin with. We have the one problem in front of Jerry X business, and we tried to address that by putting a lighted stop sign, and apparently when they put the stop sign in the ground, it wasn't concreted, or wasn't cemented, and it was stolen shortly thereafter, so we never had that opportunity to use that to try to stop people from rolling through the stop signs. And Auburn, they did the exact same thing as we did on A Street, going south on A Street at the bridge, going over the White River, and then it turned into East Valley. That speed limit was 40 miles per hour. And at the time, Mayor Lewis wanted it reduced to 25, so they did that. And I was told by a council member that they had several complaints when Mayor Backus was on the council. As soon as she was elected, she raised the speed limit back up to, I think it's 35 now. But that's something I think we ought to discuss at the council level, and just my opinion, that we don't have the excessive speeds, but there are people that exceed the speed limit more so than that obey the 25-mile-an-hour posted limit. So I'm just asking that the committee take it to council and we address it.
The Algona speed limit is still 25.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I have the same problems that that other gentleman does. I will do 25, and I will have people either riding up my behind or zipping around me, and they're all flashing that lovely waving finger. So, I completely agree with what he has to say. So I think we should bring it to council and see if we can't discuss a happy medium somewhere.
When it was brought to council, there was two recommendations. I think one was for 30, one was for 25. Council offered for lower. I think having a speed limit too low can be just as hazardous as having one set too high. And I think we're seeing that now. I think we should reconsider.
I agree. I think that we went along with what Algona was doing, to keep it consistent. But you say that once it gets to the hour portion, it's back up to 35.
I'm talking about on
Oh,
A
40.
Street, it's up to 40.
It's a 40.
Auburn is 40 on the west side.
Yeah.
And when it was 40, we seldom ever had a collision. It was not an issue at 40. I think the reason brought up was wear and tear on the road.
Right.
And I drive that. I make a point every time that I can when I leave the station. I drive the West Valley, and 35 miles an hour, whether it's raining, sunny, whatever, it's very safe. That's my opinion.
No, I agree with Rick. I think it becomes dangerous when you get to those certain things that people looking around. So I think we should bring it up and revisit it.
My original proposal was for in the area where the recycling is and everything else, that from the stop sign at Third heading south be 25, that section in there where the businesses are and everything. And then the remainder of that highway be 35. That was my original proposal. And then it got changed to 25 all the way. But I think it needs to be 25 in the area where the recycling is and whatever, because you come down there when it's dark and raining, and it's very difficult to see. You have people coming out, getting off work, going to their vehicles. You got people pulling out of the recycling. They got limited visibility. And I think it's, in that area right there, it's hazardous. As far as the rest of the highway, I see no problem with it at 35.
I think, and I know Jerry's here, whether it's appropriate to ask for this, but what I've been told, the problem is people don't stop, get the stop sign, or they roll through it, and so their speed is right up by the time they get to the recycling yard. And so I think, can I ask Jerry
Oh,
a question?
absolutely.
Is it more based on people not stopping or the speed limit?
California stops, and then by the time they get to the driveway, they're going probably 40 miles an hour, even today.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like a racetrack.
If they did stop, if we could figure a way to get them stopped, would a 35 speed limit be too much?
Yeah, I say leave it at 25, they're gonna go 35 anyway.
Council needs to remember that was brought up by our new public works manager. We cannot just change the speed limit without doing a traffic study.
Well, wait a minute, didn't we change it without having a
It's
traffic study?
illegally done, yes.
Well, can't we revert back and make it as it was then? Since we
Well,
did
that
it
was
illegally?
a temporary reduction because of the slide. And
Well, okay, well, if it was temporary, then why don't we just remove the
I think we
temporary?
have to look at the ordinance, that you, talk to Lance. I mean, we need to have Lance part of that conversation before we just arbitrarily change the speed limit.
It's frontage road is what you're referring to.
Right, but I don't think,
West Valley that was determined that we could go to 25 because of the hazardous,
The mudslide hazard.
no, just the hazardous.
The hazardous road.
Hazardous conditions.
we need to have Lance a part of this conversation.
Okay,
Maybe this is something we should forward to the public works committee to discuss, since they're more familiar with
that's a great idea.
and then get a recommendation from public works.
That's a great
I
idea.
think that's where the final recommendation came from, was from the public works.
All I'm asking is that we revisit it, however that's done.
Yeah.
Okay. I will send email to Lance and see if he can get this on there. When's your next public works meeting?
Will be the first Wednesday of April.
Next
The
Wednesday,
first.
Like the 8th.
be the first.
On the
Oh, the first is on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay. I don't know if we'll be able to get it on that soon.
Lance is out of time until Tuesday.
Oh, well,